Welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists. Creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy. Welcome to Conversations from the Barn. It's an exciting day at Everwood. It's a little sad day at Everwood, but it's also an exciting day in that it's an early morning here in the barn, and we're about to say goodbye to our friend Rachel Ries, who's with us today. Rachel's been with us. No! She's been on retreat here for the entire week after her vacation/retreat. After an amazing performance last weekend, and we're prepping for tonight's performance, our final Artist Series performance of the year. So it's a big day at Everwood. Rachel, welcome. And
thank you.
Of course, I'm here with Chris Everett as well.
Hello.
It's an early, normally we might have like a happy hour cocktail with us, but
we're having around coffee now.
At 9 a.m. this morning,
I can do a Negroni.
We can do.
I'm not scared of this.
Don't put me in a corner. So yeah, a bit of a sad day.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. Normally we have these conversations like this is I think the first one we've ever done on the final day.
Are they usually tucked into the week?
They're usually tucked in. Exactly.
Check-in.
Well, yeah. So now this is a quirky time to get your thoughts on your week.
It's perfect for this time because I think I like to hope that this is maybe tucked into a longer relationship of knowing you guys and knowing Everwood.
Ooh, I love that. There's no goodbyes going on.
This is tucked in.
That is perfect. And we're done. Thanks for joining us. So your performance Saturday, your first in...
Can we do that again?
18 months?
20 months.
20 months.
20 months. The first full band show we've had since February of 2020.
What were your thoughts?
How'd that feel?
Up on that stage?
I felt like slipping into what did it feel like? It felt great. It felt completely natural. I feel like I'm somebody who has a bunch of different alter egos clomping around. I'm a rock and roll choir director. I'm a very involved auntie. I'm a writer, artsy person.
House builder.
Oh yeah, I'm a freaking construction worker. I'm building my own house right now. I forgot about that. Thank you. But I haven't gotten to step into that performer role, which is the role that I've had longer than any of those others by a long shot. Being up on stage and finding humans in a room to connect with and stripping back to find the vulnerability under things and within things and just connecting with people in that way. It's been a long time. It felt amazing.
And it allowed you to come back together with Her Crooked Heart.
Yeah. 2
consistent members, 1 new member for the performance.
Yeah.
Like the rehearsal process, that had to have been a complete joy as well.
It was a joy. It was a little scary too with schedules. Like, were we going to actually be able to? Are we going to know these songs? Is it possible? Because I was overseas for 2. Everybody was traveling. Everyone has their own projects, and so it was a little touch and go there for a minute. Especially when we realized we needed a sub for Hillary, our cellist, bass player. But it worked stunningly, and it was so nice to have those wonderful women back in my home and cook for them and make songs and catch up. And that was all part of it, the preparation, the getting ready to gift. Yeah.
Well, it sure felt perfect, and your sound was exquisite in the barn. In this particular room, it just was so warm and full, and the audience was so ready for it. It was a beautiful evening.
Were there elements of you felt like you just slipped right back into, boy, this feels just like yesterday, but were there also elements that were like, oh, there's a new Rachel kind of emerging here in this first performance?
Yeah, as you were saying that, I started to think like the freshness. I mean, it was deeply familiar to step back into that role, but on the good performance nights, it never feels like you're regressing to something that's like, oh, let's just do this whole thing again. It always feels fresh and new. And I would think particularly so when you haven't done it for 20 months.
Yeah.
It was just a delight. And it was also super interesting. This was the first time I've played a show where all I can see are people's eyes.
Right.
That's a little freaky because you're not getting near as much. I had just to lean in and to accept that the energy I was feeling in the room coming back at me was accurate. And I had to just spend more time looking into people's eyes, hopefully not making them uncomfortable. But, you're used to seeing full facial expressions.
Smiles.
Like, did this joke land?
Yeah.
Is this really touching somebody in this moment? This human element in this song? And I didn't have near as much to go with.
Yeah.
It was, okay, how loud is the applause? Is someone avoiding my eyes?
We should have had an applause meter in the back.
Yeah.
You're killing it, Rachel, 4.8.
Next time.
That's a good idea. How has your week been?
It's been delicious and quiet and lazy, and I got a bunch of sleep. And it's funny, I was lucky enough to get here 36 hours early. Y'all didn't have a residency person before, and because of the show, I had to come early as well. So I came a little earlier than early. Retreat bonus. It was incredible, and it's sort of funny. So by the time Monday morning rolled around, which for most people would probably be sort of the start, or Sunday night, the start of retreat, I had already written like 2.5 songs and done a bunch of paintings and like, so it's sort of like I did most of the, in quotes, the heavy lifting, or like the giddy joy of creating new things before the retreat even started. And then the retreat started and I'm just like, well, now what am I doing here? I don't feel like writing a song. I just want to read this Joan Didion book and count deer. So I just sort of let it roll.
That may have happened around Tuesday, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Well, we did tell you about the
usually.
Tuesday effect.
The Tuesday effect.
Yeah.
It seems like you really stumbled into the library pretty fully this week.
I was like reading 10 books.
I love that.
There's so much value in that library. Yeah.
I've had the particular pleasure of getting to sit and have some long extended conversations with you this week, and it has been a joy to explore life, the universe, and everything together on walks and over a cocktail. And I'm delighted by the way that we have resonance with each other and with this place, but also the solar system of your interests and how they can be very different, but they all connect in such a really interesting way.
Yeah, I suppose from my fascination with wall cladding and how a building is structured, and wait, is this propane or natural gas?
Right.
Yeah. My construction workers' interest in that kind of stuff too. I've done different residencies and retreats, and I am fascinated with how they're structured. The nitty-gritty legalities of how things like what you guys have created actually operate is fascinating to me. It's its own artistry, I think. To making music. And
there is something interesting about caring about the purpose and the reason, but really wanting to lift the hood and understand the mechanics of how is allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's a real thing.
There's labor behind all of the most beautiful painting, the most well-formed and thought-out residency, the most beautiful building. Like, there's so much labor and skill and sleepless nights and money, resources that go into all those things. I'm fascinated by.
And I would imagine even like that one song that you write was constructed with Joan Didion books and watercoloring and chasing deer and taking long walks and all the rest of it, and then that all spins into a song.
Every song has the weirdest scaffolding that puts it together, that keeps it together.
What are you looking forward to in the rest of this year?
Oh my gosh, how do I answer that? I'm a little terrified. The rest of the year. Well, 2 months ago I would have said I was really looking forward to getting my choir, Kith Kin Chorus, this big old 65-voice rock and roll choir that I founded in the Twin Cities. Excited about getting that going, excited about releasing a new EP and recording the next Her Crooked Heart full length and finishing building my house. And now, like with the Delta variant, I really don't know how my choir is going to safely sing, and I don't know how to safely tour ever again. So then why do you release a record? I don't think that is, I think there is still reason to release music, but it's something that I'm really struggling with. Like, well, if you can't...
Because it's connected with the marketing.
Well, sure. Like the whole cycle, you release something, you promote it, you carry it on your back.
Literally.
From town to town to town to country to country. And
merch
if you
table.
can't do that, yeah, then what's it for? Well, it's for something bigger than that. So it's for connecting with people. So how do you still find people to connect with them if you can't share space? What was the question? What am I looking forward to in this year? Dude, I don't know. Figuring it out.
Rolling with it.
What's the next right thing?
Yeah.
Maybe this week it's tiling a bathroom floor. And maybe next week it's figuring out how to run a choir where we actually sing with masks on, which is a horrible thought to me, but what's more important, the community of song and bringing people together, or doing it the way I like to do it?
Because you're not talking about blending 65 voices virtually like we've seen over the last year. You're talking about in person. 65 voices.
Yep. I mean, March 2020, I halted. I was pretty early on the oh no, this is not feeling good.
Yeah.
If one of us dies, I cannot live with that. So very quickly I halted rehearsals, and then we would sort of meet remotely and hang out and have a few outdoor picnics. But pre-Delta, it seemed like, all right, we can be together again, requiring vaccinations and clear communication and all that. But even now, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Have you discovered a favorite place on the property this week to sit and read? Or I saw a chair in the corner of the field, the front field, and I thought maybe that's where you're getting up and enjoying the sunrise every morning. Is that right, or was that?
That is correct.
Hopefully that chair didn't get blown by the wind Thursday night.
No, I would say my answer would certainly be time of day dependent.
Yeah.
I love to wake early. I love to experience the full sunrise. And I found that, in the middle of the field facing east was really delightful. Except I never wanted to scare away the deer. Yeah. But just watching the fog, the mist over the field, the field that's east of here, it's just beautiful. So first thing in the morning, that's my favorite place. And then I really enjoyed working on the desk in the house, in the retreat house, facing east in the morning, because it's kind of chilly, right? This is middle to later September now, and so the days and the evenings I kind of needed to spend inside just for the weather of it. But then once the sun was up and the barn started to warm up, I would like to come in here and open up all four walls and work right here at this desk, at this table. And then laying on the field facing west as the sun sets.
When all the deer show up on that side.
Yeah. And if you're sitting still and anywhere in the woods, the deer will show up.
Even a random skunk.
And yeah, if you're out later at night walking through the woods, look out. You might see a skunk, and they are super cool.
We have never had a skunk encounter, and Rachel's been here 7 days, and she had a skunk encounter. Thankfully,
It's
not
my
a very
spirit
close.
animal.
Yes.
Yes.
Not a close one. Not a close enough one, but
Yeah.
still exciting.
Here, I thought a turtle was my spirit animal. Guess I was
This
wrong.
week it's the skunk. There's a message.
Yeah.
What is your orientation to nature?
My orientation to nature.
Are you a nature baby? Does it fill you up?
More and more and more. But that's a pretty new thing.
Is it?
Yeah. As a kid, nature was, oh, well, you got to work on the farm. Nature was labor. Being in nature was,
Hard work.
yeah, totally. And in some ways, I'm very hardworking and industrious, but in some ways, I'm very much not. You know, which is probably the way it is for most of us. But as a young person and then young adult, I kind of didn't care at all about nature. I don't know. I was just sort of a music making bookworm, and those would generally keep me inside. But over the past maybe 6 years, I guess, becoming more and more enamored with the natural world and learning how to be with it. Might be linked to meditation. I feel like when I did a retreat in Florida at the Rauschenberg residency 4 years ago or 3 years ago, that was a big turning point for me in nature. Because it's in Florida and you're walking down this jungle road and this part of the property, and tropical flora and fauna is just astounding. And so since I'd never really been around it, I was seeing it fresh, and all the interplay of plants and like these symbiotic relationships. And I would just walk through the jungle giggling over plants that I was seeing, which is kind of funny to say, but there's just like delight and beauty everywhere. And then watching manatee and dolphins, and I think that really opened my eyes to look a bit more.
Christopher, I think your traditional last question, kind of going full circle now, is going to be a little tricky given the fact that it's 9 a.m. in the morning.
But she's been up for 3 or 4 hours already. So.
Yeah, so can we just, before we get to that, you mentioned about getting all this sleep.
Yeah.
But you've been up every day before us, essentially.
Yup.
And not so sure you're going to bed super early either. So it's like you must have in the city must have some pretty long days.
I've been going to sleep between 9 and 11.
Well, that's not bad. Then you are sleeping. Okay.
Yeah, I
that's
think I am getting generally 7 to 8 hours.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah,
You're just an early riser.
I am.
No, good for you.
Thank you.
But you're capturing a really special moment of the
You
day.
are. It is, especially now at this time of year. The sunrises are so beautiful.
I always feel like I've missed out if there were, I think, 2 days that I missed sunrise. I was like, oh, it's already 8 o'clock. Oh, I missed it. Oh, the day is gone.
And there is something particular about that view.
Yeah.
Kind of those hills and how the sun meets, how it's framed by that landscape is pretty spectacular.
Is there fog or mist all year? Well, during all the warm times, or is it sort of this
It's mostly
season?
in those edges, kind of the early spring and then heading into fall. It
Gosh,
shows
it's
up.
gorgeous.
Later in the fall, this entire field will be just covered.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
So pretty.
You might find Brigadoon any second.
It's true. We're going to need to have a theater production in the fog.
Totally should.
Well, as Bill was pointing towards, we have a traditional final question, which is, how have you experienced beauty today?
It was in the listening. So I guess I experienced beauty this morning when I walked out to the beehives for sunrise and sat in the chairs that are stationed out there. And I was hearing a bird that I had yet to hear or notice. And it was just a lovely, perfect little crystalline bird chatter. And that made me really happy. So I guess that's my beauty for today.
That's perfect. We are overjoyed to have you as a new member of the family. And thank you for blessing this place with your music and your good energy and your friendship. And we're excited to have you back very soon.
Thank you for letting me into the family.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.